Star again. So, first before I get into this video, I'm doing another AuthorTube video. I haven't done many of those, I haven't done many AuthorTube videos since starting my channel, staying my AuthorTube part of the channel, because I was booktube before I started AuthorTubing, except for writing vlogs, I do that. So I'm going to do an AuthorTube video, but first I wanted to say that I'll be doing my first ever reading vlog soon. When I reread Secrets, I'm going to do one vlog for each book. I also do a book review for them, and yes, because I'm obsessed with Secrets, as you know, so I need as much Secrets content as I can. Because even though I mention a lot, I don't actually have book videos just for Secrets, except for one where I was talking about all the books, I think, and that's because I wanted to wait till I reread them so that I can kind of do the videos as I'm reading them, because for me it's easier that way. So yeah, and I'm excited for that because I have to reread Secrets at least once a year. I do. It's like my favorite, all-time favorite series. I'm in love with it. The characters, the friendship, especially, that's my favorite part of it. The friendship and the characters. Love the storyline, love the plot, love the action, love the adventure, and it's just the most amazing thing ever, and it's so underrated. It's such an underrated gem, and I just I love it so much. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But now into the video. 12 writing tips is what it's called. So, number 1, Christmas sweets. Like you give Christmas sweets, what are the most helpful comments to give writers when you're better reading for them? I will say it's tell them what they've done good. Like tell them the good things they did first, and so that they know what works and what they can keep continuing on for the story and other stories. But then after that, I say tell them what they need to work on and give them details about what they need to work on. Like say, this is what you need to work on and this is why you need to work on it, so they can kind of understand it better. So yeah, that's what I say. Next is number 2, Frosty the Snowman. Who's the most unique or interesting character you've ever created? What trait does a character need to connect with the reader? So this character, I've only published one novel so far. I am close to publishing the sequel to it though. But I've already created so many books. Some of them I've started. I took a pause, obviously, until I'm finished with this series. And then there's other books that I haven't actually started yet, but I already created the characters and the storylines, and I already have so many ideas for them. That's all been written down so I don't forget, because I will. Well, some scenes I don't actually forget, even if I don't write it down, because there's some scenes that just stick to my mind, but I still write them down just in case. But, so this character, I haven't even written about yet. It's about this series is the series I want to do after my Jasmine Press one is over. It's the one I'm most excited to start next, and it's about, I think I mentioned it before, it's about a witch coven. One of the main, and I haven't really gotten into details about what it's about, and I still won't get that much into details. Basically, there'll be 2 main characters. One is a witch from this coven. She is her mother is the leader of the coven, and she is destined to become the next leader, but she doesn't exactly feel like she deserves it, I guess you could say. She doesn't think she's as powerful or as good of a leader, especially since she's different than most of the coven. Because witches don't, and this, I'm getting a little bit more into detail than I want to do it well. Witches don't really have, like humans, much, because a lot of them are still bitter about the Salem witch trials days, because not everyone that was burned in my story, not everyone that was hung there were witches, but some of them were, and yeah. So but she's always been kind of interested in humans, documenting them, researching them and stuff, so she's kind of an outcast among her peers. And then there's this one girl who is a witch and doesn't really know anything about being a witch or about having these powers or anything, because she her parents are human. She lives among humans. Until she meets this witch, she never even had met another witch before. And so Melinda is the girl who was raised by humans. Ruby Amethyst is what I'm naming the witch. She has Ruby ends up finding her because of this prophecy she wants to fulfill and prove herself to her coven and her mom. And so Ruby ends up having to teach Melinda how it is to be a witch, and Melinda has to teach Ruby how it is to fit in with the humans so that she doesn't stand out if she's gonna hang out with them for a little while. So yeah, I went to a little bit more in depth of the story than I was going to, but oh well. But Ruby Amethyst is the character I'm talking about because she is different. She's different than the humans. She doesn't fit in with the humans, and she doesn't fit in with the witches, she feels like. So she feels like she doesn't have a place in the world, like she just doesn't belong. And she's very unique, and she definitely sees things in a different way than most people, all humans really, and even different than some witches, because she sees a day where there's peace among humans and witches, and she sees this world with minimal violence where everyone can just be happy and content, and she sees that can happen someday, and she believes in it. And she's just has all this light inside of her, and she definitely has a darkness to her too, because but she's just so kind, and she's so one of those people, and so she's definitely different than most of the witches, because most of the witches are more on the darker side with their powers and their magic. It kind of goes to their head, but not her. She doesn't let it, and that's why she's so different than everyone. And she doesn't understand the human ways. And for most of the story, it's about Ruby and Melinda. And you see you see some of Melinda's humans friends. But since Ruby kind of ran away from her coven for a temporary time to prove herself, she needed to leave the coven to prove herself to the coven. So because of that, Ruby lost what I'm saying. You don't get to see that much of the coven, at least in the first book, from what I'm planning. Until maybe the end of the first book. Well, no, I'd say the entire first book. Maybe the second book, you should be able to get more into the coven itself. But yeah, and because so Ruby seems a lot different because she's around these humans. She doesn't know how to act. She doesn't know what humans are like and what's acceptable and not. So yeah. See. Number 3, Christmas tree. What about writing lights you up the most? But I never did that second question for question 2, did I? Okay, so for question 2, it was, who's the most unique or interesting character you ever created? What trait does a character need to connect with the reader? Well, it depends, because I honestly don't really know how to answer this question, because like it depends. It's different for everyone. Every character is different. Every person and reader is different. So to connect with the reader, I guess they have to be believable. They have to be. That's why I like to write my characters flawed, even the ones that are kind and giving. Like the series I'm currently writing, Jasmine Prez and the Wicked Sorceress. Well, I'm on the second book now. That was the first book's name. Jasmine Prez in Another Realm. That's the second book's name. Jasmine is just someone who's so kind. I do like writing a kind hero, and as you can tell, someone who, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But like basically, Jasmine is this kind person. Even though everything that's happened to her, she still is kind and sweet. But and she doesn't really get into a dark path, but at one point in the second book, she's ready to give up, which is something you never think Jasmine would do, because she is a fighter. She doesn't know how to give up. She just keeps fighting. She keeps going through the motions. But in the second book, towards the middle-ish, maybe a little closer to the end, well, not really the end, but you know what I mean. And she's had it. The year she had was horrible. She's just over it. She's tired. She was tortured. She was in prison. She was enslaved. Well, she wasn't enslaved. That's not the right word to use. And I'm probably saying a little too much than I should have about my book. Basically, yeah, she's just done. She's had it. And it doesn't help that she literally just watched the only person that was there for her all year get murdered by her enemy. And she's had it. She's in tears. She's hysterical. She can barely breathe. She's hyperventilating. And she's she's done with everything. She's tired. She doesn't want to be this chosen one, the only one that can defeat the sorceress. She doesn't want to lose anyone else. She just wants to live a normal life like every other person gets to, and she's ready to give up, and she doesn't want to do this anymore. She doesn't want to try. She doesn't want to stop her. She doesn't want to. She just wants to let it all go. Let her destroy her the realm. Well, maybe not let her destroy the realm, but you get what I'm trying to say. And she's had it, and because of that, and that makes her more believable, because there are some chosen. I love the chosen one trope. It's my favorite trope to write. It's the one that I usually do write, where there's this one chosen one who has to defeat the evil sorceress. It's my favorite trope. It is. But I love it when the chosen one is more, because some chosen ones are so heroic, where they always do the right thing, always know what to do and what to say, and is always ready to fight. I like a chosen one who is more on the human side, someone who who doesn't want to be chosen, who keeps fighting it, who wants to give up several times, who's ready to quit, who just wants to quit and go away and mind their own business and let someone else do their job because they're just done. That is human, that is flawed, that is beautiful in my opinion. And that's the chosen one trope that I like. The one where the chosen one is flawed and is human. And that's what I like. I don't like the chosen ones that are so heroic that is like they're always ready to do what's needed. They're always ready to jump up and fight, because that's not believable. And I don't connect with the character in that way, because I connect with someone who is more human, because I know if I was a chosen one, even though it sounds interesting and fun thinking about it, in reality it probably wouldn't be if you were actually a chosen one for something like this. And I can see myself wanting to quit and give up and just be I'm not really a giving up kind of person, so in the end I would probably do the right thing. Like most chosen ones, in the end they do end up doing the right thing, unless they're just a really crappy character in general. But yeah, so I don't know, that just helps me connect with someone more if they're more human, more flawed, and not perfect. I mean, you can be, and that's another thing, like, they always say kind and sweet characters are boring. They're not boring. You don't have to be complex to be interesting, in my opinion. I love kind characters, and I write kind characters who are interesting to kind of show that. I mean, there's a few things that you could always tell is my book, because I always write a strong female protagonist, a human and flawed chosen one, and I forgot what the third one was. I was just talking about it too, like what? I forgot, but yeah, you get what I'm saying at this point. So yeah, so moving on. Number 3, Christmas tree. What about writing lights you up the most? How do you keep the enthusiasm when things turn hard? I love the thrill of creating a new world and new characters, new everything. Like, it's all, I don't know how to explain it, because yeah, sometimes writing can be hard, and it's not as easy as some people make it out to be. You have to create this world, create these characters, create likable characters, unlikable characters. You have to create you don't have, some of these things you don't actually have to create, but for me, I always do. Like, I always have one romance, even though these romance does not center around my book, because I can't do just romance. Like, I like romance in there because I want my characters to be happy, but I won't just make it about romance, because I can't do just pure romance. There has to be more to it than just that. But moving on. I have to have a strong friendship. I love the friendship part. That's one of my favorite parts of any book, the friendship and the characters. So I love writing about them. And yeah, it's always better with a strong friendship and a friend group. I love friend groups. Kind of a ride or die situation. I just love those. And yeah, so a villain that everyone loves to hate, or a villain that everyone hates to love. I don't know, either or, take your pick. So I love everything about it, and it does get hard, and when it gets hard, then you just need to take a break break, take a breath, go somewhere else, go take a walk, or just close your laptop or computer or put your pencil down, whatever you write on, and pick it back up in a few hours or in a few days. You know, whenever you have a fresh mind and can figure it out at a better time. So yeah, but I love everything about writing. I love the thrill I get, and I sometimes, like, whenever you're reading and then you get to a part you really like and then you get all excited. I get that way, not just when I'm reading someone else's stories they make, but when I write my own stories. I get really excited when I'm writing a scene that I really like just the other day I was writing, I mentioned in my writing vlog I was doing at the moment, and I was writing, and at the end of the writing vlog I came up with this. I loved the way the chapter ended, and that I was working on. I love how it ended. I loved what I said, and it's just a really amazing moment when you come up with this one particular scene, no matter how small it is, and you love it. You read it over in your mind and you just smile because you're like, oh my gosh, I actually really am proud of this one part I wrote in my story that I created. And it's just an amazing moment, and I love it. And I was just so proud of myself for that one scene. I mean, there's several scenes that I liked, but for some reason this one scene I fell in love with. I was like, I love it. I love how I worded it. I love how I explained it. And I was just, oh my gosh, I was so in love. So yeah. Number 4, Nutcracker. How do you create characters or items that come to life on the page? What tips do you have to describe them so readers can visualize and feel them? Well, when it comes to characters, I mentioned to make them more human. But I say what I do, I'm a very detail-oriented person. Even when I'm talking about the dumbest crap, I always take forever in saying what I'm trying to say because I don't really go off detail. Well, sometimes I do. I go a little bit off. But basically, I'm explaining every little thing that happened in detail. So that's why it takes me forever to get my point out, because I think that's the writer in me, honestly. Like, seriously. I have to, and my mom gets really annoyed with me because she's like, okay, get to the point. And for some reason, I just can't. Whenever I'm explaining something, no matter how little, no matter how stupid, whenever I'm explaining something, I just have to explain it in vast detail. So you get every little point I'm trying to cross, and to other people it might be annoying, but if you're a writer like me or a reader or both, then you might understand me a little bit more of why I'm doing that, because honestly I do think that's the writer in me. I don't know if every writer does that or if that's just a me thing, but yeah, so that's one thing I'm really big about. That's one thing why Erin Hunter is my favorite author. Well, that ended because Erin Hunter is the only author I've actually read more than one one series from, but that's going to change soon because Neil Susterman, the author of the Skinjacker trilogy, which I mention quite often, I'm going to try a couple of others of his series, so I might, but still, Erin Hunter's my favorite author because they're very detail-oriented, and I love it, and I think that's one thing to help readers visualize it. If it is more in detail, then you can see it all play out across your mind. Okay, let's see. Number 5, nativity. Who are the people you could not be on this writing journey without? Those that have come around you to support you and celebrate your writing. What are your best tips for finding a support system for those who feel alone? I have to say my mom. She's always been there for me. She always supported me. She's the one that helped me publish my book in the first place. She always said that I could do it. In my first novel, at the end of the book, I even gave her a shout out about like thanking her for always supporting me and this and that. So yeah, and I don't really know how to find a support system. I guess find someone who has the same passions as you who might support you, or find someone who just, I don't know, who's always been there for you. I'm sure they'll support you now too. So number 6, Christmas Story Love Actually. What's your favorite could you, I can't speak. What's your have no idea what it's supposed to say. I wrote this a while ago. I didn't actually create it. I was like writing it down that someone else was doing it. I have no idea what this says. What's your favorite code you've ever written and how they spend the holidays? What do you like to see happen with couples in fiction? Okay. I hate typos. I think I understand what it says now. What's your favorite couple you've ever written? Yeah, because typos, I just hate them. What's your favorite couple you've ever written and how they spend the holidays? What do you like to see happen with couples in fiction? So, what's my favorite couple I've written? Let me think of the couples I've written. There's two different couples in Jasmine Press and the Wicked Sorceress. There will be two couples in the one about the witch coven. Then there's the one with the 4 elements that I'm gonna write soon too, soonish, probably not even soon. Let's be real. Let's see, and there's one couple I think in there so far. I'm thinking about making a second couple, but I haven't decided yet. And then what else is there? There's the couple from. There's only gonna be one couple in the story about the cursed town, and then there's gonna be one couple in my skeleton story. I think there's like there's one couple in my creature story too. No, there's not. There's several actually. Good, at least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. And then there's 3 on my other story. No, 2, 3, something like that. But who would be my favorite? I don't know, because first of all, I haven't even finished writing them, so until I actually write all of the couples and have all their scenes, and but basically until I finish all these stories, I won't know what's my favorite couple. I like them all for different reasons. They're all different and unique, and I don't do insta-love, so none of them were insta-love. My favorite thing, I love enemies to lovers. Forbidden love, that's always interesting and intriguing. And then I also love best friends to lovers because they have a tight bond already, and it just gets stronger, and it's just really nice to read about or watch. So those are the 3 I usually do. I never do insta-love, and I never will do insta-love. And I will never do love triangle too. That's the trope I hate the most. Insta-love's probably second, to be honest. But yeah, so I guess for now I'm gonna say the one in the Jasmine Press story, Jasmine and her love interest. I don't want to say his name because, like I said, I don't want to spoil you about it because you have to kind of go on the journey and stuff, and I don't want you to start reading it and just know instantly that they're gonna fall in love, because just know. So yeah. Next is number 7, Christmas food. What's your favorite Christmas snack to help you fuel writing? So I mentioned this in some of my writing vlogs before. I always do, whenever I'm writing, I always have Southern Heat barbecue chips with me because that's the one snack I always have to have, and then cherry Coke because that's my favorite drink, and those are the 2 things I always have to write. I don't always have them when I write, but a lot of times I do, and it just helps, I guess. Number 8 is Christmas gifts. What gift of advice has helped or inspired you during your writing journey? I'm not really sure. I don't think I ever really got advice for writing. I guess some of my I was always closest to my English teachers in school because we always bond over reading and writing, and I was really close with my 11th grade English teacher and my 12th grade English teacher, and then when I was in 12th grade, an English teacher also started a writing club after school, and I was one of the first ones to sign up, obviously, because I got all excited. I was a little sad that they decided to do that on my last year of high school, but I was glad that they didn't do it after I graduated, because that would have been worse. At least I got 1 year there. And I mean, there was 1 year when we had this little contest where around Halloween time, and we had to write a Halloween themed story. It could be horror, it could just be Halloween themed, spooky for the vibes, and whoever won got like a gift card to Barnes & Noble, and I actually won. I still have the story too, somewhere here. So yeah, just throwing that out there because I got all happy about that. But I don't know. I guess they always said to just follow your heart and your passions, and don't give up. And I don't really ever give up. So yeah, I can be hard-headed when I want to be. Number 9 is 3 wise men. What started your journey to write? Did it turn out the way you expected? What advice would you give your past self about your journey? I don't know what I would give my past self. Honestly, I see that question sometimes, and honestly, I have no idea. I haven't really changed that much. I'm pretty much the same person, except I say I look a lot the same, except older, and personality-wise, I think the only difference is I'm stronger, I guess you could say. I don't know. I was never really much of a follower, but I wasn't much of a leader either, and I think I've gotten a little bit more into a leader, I guess. And a lot more now. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So, I'm a lot the same when I was in high school and elementary school and middle school and all of it. Pretty much, I'm a lot of the same person. Seriously. But what was the other question? It was, what started your writing journey? Did it turn out how you expected? Okay, I've always loved writing, and I guess it didn't really turn out that much like I expected because I don't know. I guess I always hoped I would get published, but I guess a small part of me in the back of my head, which probably every writer has, said that I probably won't be able to, that I won't be good enough, that my stories won't be that interesting. I guess I always just at the back of my head was afraid that I'd never really get there, even though I always hoped I would. So to publish at 20, that was a big deal for me. But I've always loved writing. It's just something I've always loved. It's always been a part of me, and I can't imagine my life without it. It's the best part of me, and I love it. Number 10, Santa's back. If Santa could help you meet your author of choice, who would it be, and what would you like them to do? So Aaron Hunter, obviously, I've mentioned that they're my favorite authors, because Aaron Hunter is a pen name for like a bunch of authors, if you didn't know that. But I would ask them to write another Secrets arc, because I'm obsessed with Secrets. They keep writing more and more Warriors arcs, Warriors novels, Warriors mangas, Warriors super editions, and I would love more Secrets content. I do, whether it's a novella about the characters, or a super edition about the characters, or I would love, because each Warriors arc, the first one is about Firestar and his best friend Graystripe and his future mate Sandstorm, and then second arc is about Firestar and Sandstorm's kittens, Leafpool and Squirrelflight, and then in the third arc, which I haven't actually read yet, but I have received it, and I'll be finishing Warriors soon, and I've read the back of them, and apparently it's about Squirrelflights and Brambleclaw's children. They have 3, 1 girl and 2 boys. I can't remember their names now. I mean, I only read the back, so yeah. I think one of them was Lion Paw, and then I don't remember the others. I don't know why I remember that one. I want to say one of them was Holly Paw, but I remember wrong. I don't remember the third one though. But yeah, so yeah, and so with Secrets a little bit different though, because like both arcs, because there's 2 arcs, are about the same characters for the most part. Udrak, spoiler by the way, Udrak ends up dying, and then Yukon, who becomes Kalik's mate, ends up joining them on their journey. But Udrak is still on a lot, because they always, like, they dream of him. He gives them advice from the stars and stuff, and yeah, so he still shows up even after he's dead, and I'm still not ready to reread that scene. I can't. I'm not gonna survive again. Like, seriously, oh my gosh, that scene always gets to me. But moving on, I would love another Secrets arc. I would love, a super edition, a novella, pretty much anything except for manga, because I'm not a fan of manga. I did read Seekers mangas, but just because they're Seekers. But why can't they make another arc about these Seekers cubs? Because at the end, at the very end of the Seekers books, you meet their cubs. I was like kins. No, their cubs. So why can't we have another arc where the cubs ends up going on their own journey of self-discovery, and they get really close and have this tight-knit bond that their parents had? I would love that. I would seriously love that, to get to know them. I mean, I would miss the original characters, obviously, and I hope they still come on every so often to give their cubs advice and stuff, because, like, I'm obsessed with those characters. I will always love those characters, but I would love to get to know their cubs a little bit more, and to have them have this bond, and maybe even have a couple of their kids fall in love. I actually made a Seekers fanfic, kind of, on Wattpad. My Wattpad name's author Johar Harper, and I have this Seekers fanfiction, and I'm almost done with it, where it's half about the parents, obviously, because I love them and their characters, and it's half about their cubs. So since it didn't really get much into their cubs except give you their names, I kind of gave them their own personality and how I expect them to behave, I guess you can say, because you didn't really get to meet them that much. So yeah, so if you like Seekers, you should check that out. So moving on. Number 11, Santa's Little Helper. What writing resource has been the most helpful to you? I don't really know. I guess my own creativity, because I can be very creative and I come up with these weird plots and weird characters, and I don't know, every author has to have creativity to write, because they have to come up with these characters and these storylines and these worlds, and I guess I honestly think creativity is every author's, like, most helpful resource, if you ask me, but that's just my opinion. Number 12, Advent Calendar. How do you juggle writing with the busy holiday season?
It's a text message.
I don't really have a busy holiday season. Christmas isn't one of my favorite
a text message.
days. I'm more of a Halloween gal, but I don't like hate Christmas or anything, like, no, but I mean, I can always find time. I don't know if everyone can, but like, I do my Christmas shopping, and yes, I work too, but we don't really. My mom wants to start putting up trees again next year, so we'll have to do that, and then we'll probably get more decorations. So maybe we'll get more into it, but I can always still find time, especially since with this job I have, which I'm hoping to keep for a while, I get 2 weeks off, which I'm now on my vacation now. Like, yesterday was my last day of work for 2 weeks, so yeah. My nose keeps itching it, I don't know why. But, so yeah, which is fun. So, yay, 2 weeks off. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so that also gives help. I have time to decorate, I have time to do the tree when we do that next year, and I have time to do the shopping, especially since I usually shop online. I do that more these days. I just bought a whole bunch of new books, and I'm so excited. I almost have every Warriors book, and I'm so excited. Moving on. So I can always find time to write. Writing is just my passion. I do it constantly. I write so many times, and I love it, and I can always manage to find time for it. So yeah, that is all for this video. Please like and subscribe and comment your answers, or leave this tag and tag me in it. I love to watch it, and we'll chat below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Oh yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads as Secret Books, just like on here. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.